German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has called for diplomatic efforts to be stepped up to end the war in Ukraine. Historic gains by populists from the right and left in recent regional elections have left Scholz's governing coalition under pressure on multiple fronts. A series of Islamist attacks have led many voters to demand tighter rules on immigration. Others oppose German military support for Ukraine.
I believe now is the time to discuss how we can get out of this war and move towards peace more quickly than currently seems possible.
And DW's political correspondent Simon Young joins me in the studio. Simon, you've listened to the whole interview. What stood out for you?
Well, I think what we heard there, that call for more of a focus on peace in Ukraine, that was pretty interesting from Olaf Scholz. It's of course, part of a two-pronged approach by Germany, which is also providing weapons to Kiev. But the idea that Germany should also be pushing for peace is one thing that has been relevant here in domestic politics recently, the far right in particular, pushing that kind of idea.
And the far left as well, right?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. The extremes in German politics have been pushing this pacifist line. It's clearly something that a lot of people want. So here we have Chancellor Scholz saying that there definitely will be, he said, a second peace conference on Ukraine this year. He says that he's agreed with President Zelensky that Russia will attend that, unlike the first peace conference that was held in Switzerland in June.
Now, Scholz is under pressure. Recent election losses in Saxony and Thuringia, massive losses. Are German voters losing confidence in Scholz?
I think there's a lot of evidence that they are. Those regional elections are part of it. But, for instance, German ZDF TV has come up with some fresh polling saying that 65% of Germans think Scholz is doing a bad job. 77% think he can't win the arguments and get his way, even within his own government. Now, they put those numbers to him in the interview and he says, well, you know, we are doing the best we can. We all know it's a three-way coalition. These parties have got disagreements, some of them quite fundamental. And he says, you know, this government can be proud of its record. We've achieved a lot of things. We've dealt with Corona. We've backed Ukraine and so on. And he also says, let's not get jitters just because of a few bad election results. But it may be more serious than that.
He would say that, of course. Federal elections, though, are scheduled for next year. Is it likely that Scholz and his government can win back the confidence of the voters?
Well, I think it's going to be an uphill struggle. He's got to show leadership on some big issues. One of them, migration. That's an issue that's really top of the agenda for a lot of people at the moment, and particularly in the wake of the Solingen terror attack, in which 3 people died, and the chief suspect is a migrant who should have been deported. So we can hear actually another clip of Scholz talking about the migration issue.
We pushed through the largest package for the management of irregular migration ever. We reformed the Asylum Seekers Benefit Act. That means less money is being paid out. We introduced border controls, which was not the case before. We've created more safe countries of origin. We have ensured that people can investigate the accommodation centers. We've extended detention periods. All of this is already law, so it's wrong to give the impression that we're only taking action now. None of this took place 10 or 20 years ago.
Right, so that's the migration issue. Another thing is the economy, of course. Germany is just not the manufacturing powerhouse that it once was, especially, for instance, in motor manufacturing, new technologies, foreign competition. Scholz says, well, you know, government can play a role in helping people to rise to those challenges, and that he says it's doing that. But, of course, as with the migration issue, it's slow progress, and time is running out, as you say, just a year to go before that national election.
DW's political correspondent Simon Young there. Thank you very much, Simon.